Real quick before the video starts, this is part one of many videos. Since these films aren't out yet and the promotional campaigns haven't really started for these films, there isn't a lot of footage. Anyway, have fun. Cool. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my scheme to get us free tickets at the New York Film Festival indefinitely. So last year, when we did the New York Film Festival video, it was just me because Glenn didn't go because he doesn't live in New York City. The video is fine, but like it's kind of dumb because you're not involved in the video, so it's like really weird. So I thought like, hey, why don't I just tell you about these movies that I'm gonna see this year at the New York Film Festival and not tell you what movies I'm seeing, so then I can be like, hey, I saw this, and you're like, what's that, and etc. So it's like I'm talking to the audience, but I'm also talking to you at the same time.
Yeah, so now I get to learn about all these films, how to be art.
Yeah, you get to learn about cinema. All right, so let's talk about the movies. Before we begin, the thing I want you to do is before I talk about each film, I would very much like for you to ask me what trials and tribulations I went through watching it, because I don't know what was in the Kool-Aid this year at the New York Film Festival, but every screening I had, I was sitting near some fucking idiot who didn't know how to watch a movie, and I was being interrupted. I'm here at a film festival, and people are acting like they've never been to a movie theater before, and oh boy. Okay, anyway, so I want you to ask me.
Doesn't that come with living in New York? Like, shitty people being at,
But these
like,
tickets
movie
are
theaters and
expensive. Like,
stuff?
old, rich, white people go to these screenings,
Yeah, that's true.
and they still don't know how to act. It's crazy. It's crazy. I was astonished because last year I was fine. Maybe there were a couple of a couple phones went off maybe, but I don't remember that at all. Maybe some people got in late. That probably happened. I can see it in my head. But like to the degree that I suffered through this festival, I was genuinely upset.
Do they have, like, popcorn and stuff at these festival screenings, or is it just, like, go and watch your movie?
There's a bar outside, but you can't bring your food in. So, like, for one of these screenings, I was kind of drunk. I'll tell you which one when it happens.
Okay.
I did sneak in, like, some Skittles. I made the effort to undo the plastic and dump it all in the cardboard box and then just have it tilted so I can just put my finger in and grab one at a time and not be obnoxious, because things make noise and I guess people don't fucking know that. Ugh. Anyway. Oh wait, I wanted to make a recommendation to Film at Lincoln Center if they're watching somehow for some reason, because they liked one of our Instagram posts. So
lit.
For these screenings, Glenn, they will usually have someone come out from either the board of directors or the selection committee, or I think the creative director comes out as well. It depends. Like they'll rotate based on like what's going on in the festival, and they'll talk for about like 10 minutes about, welcome to the New York Film Festival. It's sponsored by blah blah blah. We picked this film because I really liked it because, and they'll talk about it for a second, and then usually the director will come out and they'll say hi and they'll talk about it, and sometimes depending on if the cast is there, they'll bring out the cast and maybe the cast will say something. Like it's like a 10 to 15 minute process, and still people came in super late, and it's so immersion breaking when the ushers have to come in with their fucking flashlights and flash around, and it's in the corner of my eye, or sometimes if I'm sitting on the edge of the row, it'll be right in my face, and I can't pay attention to the movie. So like, Film at Lincoln Center, I know you're not going to do this, but I would recommend if people come in late, like as soon as the movie starts, just close your doors. There's like a line or like a border sort of right before you go into the theater where they check in the tickets. And I feel like that should be closed. Like people can come in and go like because the bathroom's like right next to the doors. So like that's still possible. Like I'm not saying you can't go to the bathroom because I'm not crazy. But if you come in late and you're still searching for your seat and the movie's like 5 minutes in and I'm trying to get into it, like no, that's unacceptable to me. Just refund their ticket and give them another screening to maybe an encore or maybe another movie that they wanted to see that they couldn't. That's bullshit to me. It's crazy. Like, no.
Yeah, that's wild as hell.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's a film festival. I don't know. I feel like I just need to open my own theater, and if I did, I would get rid of all side seats, and I would make it no Wi-Fi, and if you talk, you leave, you get kicked out, and you can't come in late. Those would be my simple rules. Just sit down, shut up, and watch the movie. And just literally sit there. Like, you paid to sit in a seat for 2 hours. So fucking do it. Anyway, last year I saw one movie that I did not like, and I saw 5 movies last year. This year I saw 10 movies, and there was only one I did not like.
That's good.
Yeah, I know.
How many movies were there altogether, do you know?
29, I think.
Oh, okay.
So the worst film that I saw at the New York Film Festival was this film called Wasp Network, and it's directed by Olivier Assayas. I think that's how you say his name. He's French, so it might be Olivier. I don't know. I think they pronounced his name Oliver at the film festival. He did this film called Clouds of Sils Maria, which people liked, sort of. Kristen Stewart won the French equivalent of the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for that movie. And this other film called Personal Shopper. Those are the 2 films I'm most familiar with from him. It stars Penelope Cruz, Edgar Ramirez, Gael Garcia Bernal. He's in Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu's early work, like he was in Babel and Amores Perros. He's in a bunch of great movies. He's a great actor. And the guy who played what's his name in Narcos, that actor, I feel like that's who he is. I haven't seen Narcos, but I've seen like pictures and memes from Narcos, and I think that's the actor. And Ana de Armas is in it from you saw Blade Runner 2049, right?
Yes.
She's the girl, the Joy.
Oh, okay. What did you go through to see this movie?
So, there was some bitch behind me crinkling her fucking wrapper the entire movie. It might have been like a bag or she had a snack, but she was crinkling that shit like it doesn't make noise. Like she was doing some ASMR in the fucking movie theater.
While a movie was playing. Oh my god.
I was so upset. So that happened quite a bit during that movie. And people came in late, and there were flashlights, etc. So that's what I went through watching Wasp Network. Yeah, so it's a bunch of Spanish actors. Me being a Latinx person myself, I was like, I'm going to enjoy this. But it's garbage. It's so bad.
Is it really?
Yes. It's so annoying. So the director's French, and that has really nothing to do with it because, like, everybody knows that movie I talk about in our list videos, the last 2 list videos. That movie was directed by an Iranian guy, and it was amazing, and it got the Spanish culture down right. Not the point. This film is, like, really bad on, like, a technical level. It's not just like, oh, the story wasn't great and blah, blah, blah. This film is, like, I don't know why it was at the festival. I'm being dead serious.
Oh my god.
The guy that introduced the film and brought out the director, I guess he's friends with the director, and so I feel like that was a part of why the movie was there. But the director came out, he talked about how they filmed it in Cuba because the movie's about
Cuban spies collecting information for the Cuban government in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how directing the movie was very difficult because of the conditions they were in and all that stuff. And, you know, I can respect that. Every film is hard to make, especially when you're doing something you've probably never done before. Because a lot of his films, from what I've seen, are very grounded. We're not exploding planes in his other movies. But in this film, we are. Actually, the plane exploding scene, there's a scene where a couple of planes got shot down, and those scenes were fucking awesome. There's no CG from what I saw. Like, I didn't notice anything, and it looked pretty real. I was like, oh shit. But otherwise, this film is like a technical mess. So the languages spoken in this film are English, Spanish, and Russian. That means there's a very low chance that everyone speaks all 3 of those languages, so there's subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, the subtitles were fucked up. The subtitles glitched.
Did they?
Yes, they did. So for example, I would say,
Hola, Glenn, ¿qué pasa? And it'll say, hi, Glenn, what's up, right? On the bottom of the screen, but it'll glitch, like it'll pop in and out on that line.
That's like ridiculous.
Yeah, that happened 5 times. I counted. It happened once, and I was like, is that a metaphor? Like, what is that? Is that a choice? And then it happened again, and then it happened a 3rd time. I was like, okay, this is the 3rd time, and I don't think it's happening on purpose. This is a fucking mistake. And then it happened 2 more times at the end of the movie, and I was visibly upset. I didn't even know, like, how do you fuck up a subtitle? Anyway, there were a lot of dolly shots used in the film. Not every shot, like, it wasn't a Scorsese film, but, like, a noticeable amount of dolly shots were in the film. And most of them were bumpy as fuck. Also, during, like, the plane scenes, there are dust spots in the camera lens.
No way.
I'm not fucking kidding.
So this is not a contender for anything at all?
No, it's coming out in January, so like you already know what the deal is.
Okay, yeah.
The editing, no bueno, bad, awful. Like the worst, some of the worst editing I've seen this year. Like even really bad films that I've seen this year that I've given a 1 out of 10. The editing isn't bad per se. It's just there. Like someone took the film and they put the elements together and that was the film. It seemed like they didn't have enough of these scenes to like end it on a definitive note to go into the next scene because there are like 20 fades to black and I don't know why. There are a lot of crossfades in this film and I hate fades. If you're fading to black or if you're doing a crossfade, it needs to mean something. One of the only really good usage of a crossfade I could think of is in Taxi Driver in the beginning of the film when he's walking down the street and he's like, oh, I'm in New York and I'm sad and I'm an incel or whatever. I really liked that usage of the crossfade. But here we're just fading into scenes for no reason. Like there were scenes when it was a harsh cut to the next scene. It really emphasized how the crossfades were just band-aids, basically. I mean, there was one good crossfade, and that was in the beginning. Like, the movie starts with Edgar Ramirez's character taking a plane from Cuba to Miami. You know how in films when there's like a lot of traveling done, or like in musical biopics, they'll have, oh, they went to Paris, and then the line goes all the way to Tokyo, and then the line goes all the way to LA, and then the line goes all the way to...
Yeah.
In this film, they do something that was really cool. They shot this plane flying over the ocean, and then they had this map fade into the frame, and instead of having a dot or like a fake plane, they just had the actual plane that they shot doing that action from Cuba to Miami on the map.
Like the actual like real life plane?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. That's different.
I was like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that in a movie. Maybe it's been in another movie, but I don't know. I haven't seen that movie. Or maybe I don't remember it because I've seen so many movies this year. I'm so tired. But yeah, so like that's great. That part I was like, oh, I might see a good movie. And then the rest of it just disappointed. That's not to say that this film is like the worst film this year. Like not even close. I've seen at least 40 more movies that are worse than this movie, but this is definitely the worst movie at this festival and should not have been here. There's a really great movie in this movie, and that movie is the relationship between the characters played by Penelope Cruz and Edgar Ramirez, because they play husband and wife in this film. Mm-hmm. And their scenes together are so good. They have such good chemistry together, and the scenes with just them talking are the best scenes in the film, and they get ruined by like some stupid fucking fade, and it's like really frustrating because I'm like, I just want to be in this scene with them and they won't let me. There's a scene like maybe in the middle of the movie where Edgar Ramirez hasn't seen Penelope Cruz in a really long time, and they reunite, and they're both turning in like some of their best work. You can see how much they missed each other without words. And then like the editor's like, nah, we've been here too long. We have to give you more information about shit you don't care about. Like you don't need to explain to me the things going on with Fidel Castro and the United States government. Like you could have made a character-based drama with just this shit in the background, and they could have just talked about how it affects their relationship, and that could have been fine. The movie could have been fine, and I would have enjoyed it, and it would have been great. It's so muddled. There's too many characters that you have to get attached to. There's too much information that you have to know. And do you remember in Arrival, it's right in the middle of the movie where Jeremy Renner's character starts explaining the advancements that they make with the aliens when they're doing the language shit?
Yeah.
If you don't like that part, take it or leave it. But at least it's from the character's point of view. Like he's watching Amy Adams' character like figure this out, and he's there for her and he's supporting her. There's parts to admire about that bit of narration, but there's a segment in this film where it turns into like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It turns into like a montage with a song that I'm pretty sure Quentin Tarantino has used in one of his movies. And this montage is narrated by someone, but it doesn't sound like any of the characters, and it was really out of place and awful. It immediately felt like Assayas either didn't know how or couldn't convey that information at all. The information that he's spoon-feeding us is stuff that you honestly don't care about. It especially didn't need to be in the movie because there's a scene where Gael Garcia Bernal explains the same information to Penelope Cruz. Why is this in the movie? I was so confused by this movie and like how messy it was. And the film is 2 hours long. We could have cut some stuff. Like, I'm not saying every film needs to be under 2 hours, but this film is fucking bloated. It was just bad. This is a bad movie.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, thanks. I mean, you could honestly watch this movie just for Penelope Cruz and Edgar Ramirez turn in some of their best performances, but just know that you're gonna have to sit through a lot of bullshit to get there. And I'm giving Wasp Network a 4 out of 10.
Oh, I thought you would go lower than that.
Oh, no. The Edgar Ramirez and Penelope Cruz parts are so good.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't last too long. It was kind of just perplexing. I'm kind of surprised I didn't make it lower either, but yeah, it's a 4. We got more videos coming out. If you like this video, like and comment and subscribe and do all the things. All right, bye-bye. Love you. Mwah.